All right. So who are the people that you don't have to super on TV? You don't have to super the president. You don't have to super, I don't know, maybe like the most famous people in the world. And
what do you mean by super?
Putting their names up. Like when you show a picture of the president, you don't have to put their name up.
Yep.
Yeah, but you don't have to put names up
that
for this.
picture you might have to put their
I
name
don't know.
up.
We know who they are, don't you?
You can't tell who
I know
it
that
is.
fade
I'm pretty
anywhere.
sure we know
If
who
somebody
it is.
gave you that picture and you said, okay, who are they? You wouldn't know who they were.
But that's totally out of context. Today,
I'll tell you what,
we
9
know
million people
who that is.
clicked like in an
more
hour.
than that.
Pete.
Right.
They know who that
Travis
is.
Kelce engaged to Taylor Swift, and that leads us into a discussion about Travis Kelce's future and the Kansas City Chiefs. We have Kyle Long and Pete Prisco with us. We also have Jonathan Jones. And some people believe that because they got engaged before the season here, that this means it's going to set us up for one final season for Kelce, and then he can retire and they can get married. You buying that, Pete?
Well, I mean, he is at the final year of his deal, and he is coming to the end of his career. He's arguably the greatest pass-catching tight end who's played. You can make that case for him. And he wasn't that good last year. But he seemed to be refocused this offseason. He came down here. He worked out where he used to work out at Bommarito. I think not Bommarito, but somebody up the road.
I know the place, so I'm not going to dox him. I'm not going to dox him.
Yeah. But he works out there.
He's working hard.
And he got in shape. He wasn't in shape. And if you looked at him last year, he looked almost like he was lean at times. Didn't look like he put the work in the gym. This year he looks different. And so it's a big year personally from him from a football standpoint. It's a big year for the Chiefs to try and get back to the Super Bowl and win it. And obviously it's a big year from him personally because he's now an engaged man.
This team, this offense, this dynasty that we've seen with the Kansas City Chiefs, this guy 87, and just like we saw with Rob Gronkowski being, synonymous with the Patriots, that's what it's about. I think that, to your point, he found a way to get used to the lifestyle that you adopt when you're dating a superstar, now engaged to the most famous person on the planet, in my opinion. So now he's used to that. Like you said, he started working some of the things that he found success with early in his career. He's been training his butt off down here in South Florida. I fully anticipate him, the Chiefs, to come out with a chip on their shoulder this year. I could totally see him being done after this year. But I can tell you that every football player doesn't want to be done. And for a guy like Travis Kelce, who has literally achieved everything, you're probably wondering, why is he even still here? Well, he understands that history is made when greatness like Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, they stick together and they give it their best shot. I think we're going to get, at the very least, one more great version of this Chiefs team this year.
I agree. I think this is going to be a big year for Patrick Mahomes, and I think Kelce's going to bounce back and play very well. One thing, his $17 million, I said this earlier, that's now like, yeah, honey, get that out of the tip jar.
That's chump change for Taylor. Yeah, I mean, it's like Tom
is.
Brady with his wife, right? I mean, his wife was making more too. JJ, what do the Chiefs believe about Travis Kelce's future? Are they going into this season thinking this is probably it?
I don't think there's maybe there's a 1% hope in the back of folks' minds that maybe this won't be it. But also, the player mentality is, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And Travis Kelce, in the final year of his 2-year contract, is at 35, 36 years old, now engaged, ready to be a Hollywood star and do all these other things outside of football. This is going to set up perfectly. This is going to be like Peyton Manning in Super Bowl 50, except he's going to be less of a zombie like Peyton Manning was in that game, and far more like the postseason Travis Kelce, one of the best postseason players in NFL history, regardless of position, when you look just at the numbers and what he has been able to do. This is it. This is it. Whether they win the Super Bowl, whether they make it to the Super Bowl, it's hard to imagine that there's another year for Travis Kelce, at least as it stands right now. And sometimes you get that storybook ending, and sometimes you don't. I think a lot of folks have been waiting for the dynasty to crumble with the Kansas City Chiefs. And what we have seen is it has not crumbled. Yeah, they were down 40-6 in the Super Bowl. They took their lumps. They lost that game. But they have been able to reinvent and reimagine themselves over the better part of a decade. You have to have a generational quarterback. You have to have a generational head coach. Those two things really help in dynasties. But then after that, you got to fill in the very important pieces. And now it's going to be, for the Kansas City Chiefs, about filling in that pass catcher role at tight end, or if they change offensive philosophies and kind of diminish that tight end role that they had for so long.
One of the things that when a guy gets older, I always look, particularly a pass catcher, I always look to his yards per catch and how it goes down. And his was the lowest last year. It was 8.5. I mean, that's not nearly good enough. He's been over 10. He was over 12. He's been over 13. So you can tell a guy's getting older. He needs to get that back up near 10 this year to be back to where he was. And I think he will.
You know what Travis Kelce does better than anybody in the National Football League? Scramble drill.
Yeah.
And with Josh Simmons at the left tackle spot, Patrick is going to have the confidence and understanding that there's a mute button over there on my blind side, and I don't have to be seeing demons in the back of my head. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, off-schedule football. Write it down. It's going to happen this year.
All right. Well, they start on a Friday in Brazil. It is a week from Friday. They'll be taking on the LA Chargers. Division battle here. Chiefs favored by 3. When the Chiefs step out there on the field and we see them for the first time, Pete, do you expect them to look just like they have in the last previous years, or do you think there's going to be any kind of wrinkle?
They're going to be better. They're going to be better. I picked Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP earlier today in today's show. So, yes, I think what we're going to see is, you mentioned Josh Simmons. I loved him. I thought he was the best offensive lineman in the draft. There were questions about him. He had an injury history. There were some attitude questions people had about him. Plug and play. Great left tackle. Dances like a ballerina at left tackle. You don't find those guys often. They moved the big guy in. Your favorite guy, go ahead, say it.
Kingsley Suamataia.
He plays guard. So all of a sudden now, from left tackle to right tackle, because Taylor's going to be the right tackle, and he played hurt last year, all of a sudden you're better on the offensive line. He'll be protected. He's got the speed, guys. When Rice gets back off his suspension, we don't know what it's going to be, but he'll be suspended. He's got plenty of speed outside. Their deep ball is back. This is going to be Patrick Mahomes of a couple years ago. It's not going to be the guy that Leger calls manage the game, Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be throwing the ball down the field, putting up big numbers.
Leger's playing a lot of golf, you know.
Yeah, but he's not here to defend himself.
JJ, what's that scene down in Brazil going to be like? Because we got a glimpse of it for the first time last year. It was that Eagles-Packers game that we saw. Are we going to see much of the same there this year?
Yeah, you certainly will. And here's the other thing. The NFL, they know that the playing surface wasn't the best last year in that game between the Eagles and the Packers. And so they've had their turf people down in Brazil much earlier than they had last year. They've already resodded it. They've already re-stitched it up. So they're hoping not to have similar issues to what they had last year. They learned from that. They're going to be better there in that climate there in Brazil. So that is one thing to look for. I know that Kyle Long and every offensive lineman cares very much about the ground beneath their feet. This should be better ground than what the Eagles and Packers were playing with this time last year.
And it's not just me. Saquon Barkley, one of the most, celebrity players in the National Football League, almost sprained an ankle in like the first series of last year's game, right, JJ? He goes to take a handoff and he just eats the grass. You said turf people. I say always send grass people. Screw the turf people. We need more grass people, okay? More grass people.
Oh, when you look at the odds don't back up what Pete and Kyle might believe the Chiefs will be, because, I mean, it seems like every other year we go into a season and the Chiefs are the favorites. They're not the favorite. They're not even the favorite to come out of the AFC. There are 3 teams in the NFL with shorter odds to win the Super Bowl than Kansas City at plus 800. Why do you think, Pete, they're being undervalued?
Well, I don't think people realize that Patrick Mahomes is going to get back to being Patrick Mahomes again. I don't think people pay attention to the offensive line enough. And when you watch Josh Simmons play, like you said, he's an eraser. And when you can erase that left tackle, if you can erase the pass rusher coming off that edge, it makes Patrick Mahomes that much better. And we know already that two of the guys that started last year, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, they're 2 of the best in the league. So the offensive line is going to be a strength. I believe in Spagnuolo on the defense. I don't have them going to the Super Bowl because I think Buffalo, who is one of the favorites, if I'm not mistaken.
Buffalo has shorter odds than Kansas City.
And here's the thing on Buffalo. You look at their schedule. I say this all the time. Buffalo plays in a much easier division than the Chiefs do.
They won by 5 games last year.
And they play the furthest they go west. You know what it is? The Texans. It's the only one they go, the only place they go, and all their tough games, most of their, I think all but 5, all but one of them, they're at home. They get the Bucks at home. They get all their games. They get the Chiefs at home. They get all their tough games at home. So the schedule's favorable. The Bills are going to win 12, 13 games, and I don't know if the Chiefs will.
And they don't have to go to Brazil either.
It's true.
We know how that can affect teams. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs, the third shortest favorite in the AFC behind the aforementioned Bills and the Ravens, and then it's the Chiefs just to get out of the AFC. It is Futures Day at FanDuel. 24 hours of boosts, bonuses, and bragging rights. Pull out your FanDuel app. If you don't have it, scan that QR code and download it, and you can get some great deals on NFL future bets for today only.